Rhinestones glitter, but sometimes they hide scars. Imagine the backstage corridors of mid-century Nashville, thick with tobacco haze and perfume, where whispers stuck to every velvet curtain. There, passion did cartwheels while polite society pretended not to watch. Today, we're slipping past the security guard, lifting the lid on 25 queens of country whose tangled romances rewrote the rulebook. Their voices sold heartache by the million, yet their own hearts were busy detonating offstage. Forget the official biographies. What follows is the unfiltered melody of longing, betrayal, and downright daring that still echoes whenever a steel guitar moans. Tammy Wynette was crowned the First Lady of Country, but away from the spotlight, she ran a private marathon through 5 wedding aisles. She and George Jones sang of golden rings while arguing in buses, slamming doors hard enough to rattle the liquor bottles they both depended on. Painkillers dulled the physical agony of serious medical troubles, yet also blurred the lines between devotion and disaster. Friends say Tammy chased security the way others chase applause, marrying one man to escape another, always betting that next stand by your man moment might finally stand by her. Loretta Lynn married Oliver Doolittle Lynn at 13, and the coal miner's daughter never stopped negotiating love and fury. Do bought her a guitar, bragged about mistresses, and sometimes staggered home swinging fists. Loretta answered with chart-topping warnings like Fist City that dared any barroom rival to approach. She threw him out, took him back, fought, forgave, repeated, an Appalachian soap opera that fueled an empire. When interviewers asked why she stayed, she'd grin and say the songs needed an antagonist, then raise her trophy like a moonshine salute to survival. Lynn Anderson floated to fame on Rose Garden, yet those petals disguised thorns. Her marriage to songwriter Glenn Sutton looked like a Music Row fairy tale until creative clashes bloomed into jealousy. He produced her hits, but backstage critics whispered about flirtations between Lynn and touring guitarists. Arguments erupted over missed calls and lipstick traces, and the couple's duet of success turned into a solo act in divorce court. Lynn later quipped that she could out-sing Heartbreak any day, but friends noticed how her smile tightened whenever Sutton's name surfaced. Tanya Tucker barged into country stardom at 13 and treated adulthood like an encore nobody could stop. Glenn Campbell became her on-again, off-again mentor lover, their arguments as loud as their duets. After backstage blow-ups, she'd hop a plane to Las Vegas with Merle Haggard, then ride back on Campbell's tour bus 2 weeks later. Tabloids painted her as a denim tornado, but Tanya called it collecting life verses. Decades later, she admitted those whirlwind romances nearly cost her voice, yet she'd rather risk a raspy note than a boring memory. Wanda Jackson, the rockabilly queen in fringed dresses, learned early that church pews and jukeboxes hear very different confessions. On tour with Elvis Presley, she received a diamond ring he forgot to mention to the press, and their backstage kisses became legend among bus drivers, eager to trade stories for tips. Conservative radio stations threatened boycotts, so Wanda cultivated a mysterious grin, letting rumor work its free publicity magic. Although she eventually married her manager and settled down, she still laughs about lessons from the king and how temptation can strum a guitar faster than any pick. Jesse Coulter rode shotgun with Waylon Jennings through the outlaw country revolution, their love fueled by diesel fumes, neon signs, and midnight duets. Waylon's appetite for amphetamines, poker, and endless encores left creditors pounding on motel doors, yet Jesse's devotion never wavered. Insiders swear that during one separation she found comfort with another guitarist, but as soon as Waylon growled her name on stage, she sprinted back, harmonizing like nothing had changed. In their world, forgiveness was another verse, and two wildfire spirits refused to burn apart. Together, they proved chaos can chart gold. June Carter Cash toured alongside Johnny Cash long before vows were spoken, trading witty one-liners while ignoring the sparks visible from the cheap seats. She was married to another man, he to a wife back home, yet the highway stitched them together. Love letters tucked inside guitar cases became their secret currency, and when June finally surrendered, two families shattered like dropped vinyl. Gossip called her a homewrecker, but she saw herself as Johnny's life raft, pulling him from pills, booze, and the darkness only a prison song understands. Their union, fragile yet fearless, rewrote the hymnal on redemption. Dottie West's velvet voice hid a gambler's streak. She bet on love as recklessly as she bet on stage costumes dripping with sequins. 3 marriages came and went like tour buses changing drivers. One husband siphoned her royalties to fund race car dreams, another left when the spotlight dimmed. Dottie soothed each heartbreak with late-night songwriting sessions and whispered affairs that never made the liner notes. She believed generosity could salvage any bond, giving friends blank checks she could not afford, until bankruptcy proved romance isn't the only thing that can vanish overnight. Melba Montgomery's mountain twang blended so perfectly with George Jones that fans assumed wedding bells were imminent. In reality, their chemistry sparked more rumors than embraces. Yet offstage, Melba's collaborations led to quiet entanglements with other duet partners. She learned the delicate art of closing one dressing room door before another opened. A later marriage finally anchored her, but old hands at the Opry still chuckle about the nights her harmony lines blurred with real-life longing, proving you don't have to kiss a legend to sound like you did. Behind every perfectly pitched note lingered a secret heartbeat. Dolly Parton's public devotion to husband Carl Dean might fool casual observers, yet the queen of rhinestone wit once confessed to highly emotional affairs. She drew the line at certain boundaries, but welcomed the flutter of forbidden notes, channeling them into ballads that broke radio records. Dolly's laughter disarmed reporters hunting scandal, and her openness about temptation turned rumor into empowerment. She says Carl keeps scrapbooks of every headline, proof that trust can coexist with wanderlust if both hearts are sturdy enough to carry a 12-string of secrets. Few marriages survive that much spotlight glare. Theirs wears sunglasses. Barbara Mandrell projected squeaky clean excellence, mastering pedal steel and primetime television with equal poise. Yet whispers drifted through the tour buses about behind-the-scenes complexity. A near-fatal car crash reshaped her priorities, but not before industry insiders alleged close friendships that pushed emotional boundaries. Mandrell stepped back from fame, citing family, leaving fans to debate whether absence preserved a perfect image or concealed unfinished chapters. Either way, the rumor mill kept spinning, a testament to how even polished halos cast curious shadows. Those who shared her green room recall an intensity that could melt chrome from a microphone stand. Crystal Gale's waterfall of hair and silky phrasing made her the elegant counterpart to Sister Loretta, but refinement didn't stop romance from zigzagging backstage. Insiders mentioned discreet liaisons with producers who promised international crossover glory. Crystal handled gossip by smiling through those famous bangs, yet more than one breakup fed the ache behind "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue." She finally built controlled distance between career and chemistry, proving that the quietest performers sometimes navigate the loudest private storms. Back then, silence was the only armor a woman could afford. Jeannie C. Riley rocketed to stardom preaching small-town scandal in Harper Valley, PTA, but her own domestic saga involved divorcing and remarrying the same man. Jeannie's newfound fame collided with Nashville's temptation circuit, late-night gigs blurred into dawn rendezvous she later prayed to forget. When the marriage finally ended for good, she leaned into gospel music, confessing that success could feel like a siren luring ships toward rocks. Her voice stayed crisp, yet her trust in fairy tale endings faded like stage lights after the encore. Even so, she found grace in survival, not in perfection. Connie Smith's gospel-hued vocals caught Marty Stewart's ear when he was just a boy collecting autographs. Decades later, he collected her hand in marriage, undeterred by 17 summers between their birthdays. Some called it destiny, others daydream. Connie, previously thrice wed, viewed love like key changes, tricky but thrilling if timed right. Their union confounded cynics yet flourished, proving that sometimes timing rather than tally determines romance. Backstage, younger artists joke that Connie and Marty give hope to every fan scribbling crush letters from the balcony. Age gaps shrink when harmonies fit like handcrafted boots. Reba McEntire built an empire of anthems and cattle ranches, but even empires quake when vows crack. After 26 years with manager-husband Narvel Blackstock, the queen of country fireworks signed divorce papers and strutted onto a Vegas stage smiling wider than ever. Soon she was cuddling with actor Rex Linn over chicken-fried dinners they documented on social media for fans who craved a comeback story. Reba says she's proof that heartbreak can be compost, feeding brighter blooms, though she still keeps old love letters tucked beside tax returns, just in case nostalgia needs auditing. Shania Twain's chart reign looked bulletproof until she discovered her husband and songwriting partner was secretly exchanging vows of the heart with her best friend. Instead of torching every love song, Shania swapped heartbreak for irony, marrying the jilted friend's ex-husband in a twist so cinematic producers begged for rights. She emerged from the ordeal sounding stronger, attributing recovery to Switzerland hikes and brutally honest journaling. Shania's saga became modern proof that country cliches evolve. Sometimes the cheater's gossip line turns into the aisle you walk with someone better. Vindication never sounded so radio-friendly. Linda Ronstadt drifted between Los Angeles canyon parties and political fundraisers, serenading both guitar heroes and California's Governor Jerry Brown. Her partnership list reads like a Grammy ballot: songwriters, comedians, future movie stars. Yet she deflected prying questions with clever asides about turquoise jewelry. Ronstadt prized independence over permanence, once saying commitment was a fine dessert, but she preferred the buffet. In later years, Parkinson's dimmed her vocal power, yet memories of candlelit jam sessions still ripple through the Laurel Canyon night air she helped define. Lovers came and went, but the echo of her fearless soprano lingers longer than any fling. K.T. Oslin smashed stereotypes by hitting #1 in her 40s, then proclaimed she wasn't built for lifetime contracts, musical or romantic. She dated younger men, older artists, and occasionally no one at all, savoring city nights alone with takeout and a screenplay draft. Reporters fishing for scandal got witty quotes instead. She joked that wrinkles were roadmaps to every adventure worth repeating. Even when illness later forced her from the stage, friends say KT flirted with ambulance drivers, proving humor ages better than rouge. Her playbook was simple: curiosity first, caution later. Pam Tillis grew up under superstar shadows and fought to script her own love story, toggling between Nashville songwriters and Austin rebels. She married, divorced, and kept writing ballads sharp enough to slice through smoky honky-tonks. Each relationship gifted a melody but demanded a piece of privacy in return. When tabloids asked about fresh romances, Pam flashed a grin inherited from Father Mel Tillis and replied that mystery helps a song climb higher. Translation: heartbreak earns royalties. Commitment rarely trends. Still, she never stops tuning her heartstrings, hopeful the next chord stays in key. Bobby Gentry wrote Ode to Billy Joe, cashed her checks, and walked straight out of fame's front gate, leaving rumors to water her legend. Before disappearing, she experienced brief marriages and quieter entanglements with casino magnates and guitar pickers alike. Old studio engineers swear she once kept 3 love letters in a single coat pocket and chose her lunch date by coin toss. Gentry's true romance now is privacy. She guards it like a Delta Fox guarding kits, reminding the world that vanishing can be the boldest encore imaginable. Even silence can roar. Shelby Lynn carved bluesy confessionals from Alabama clay, courting musicians who understood that love is louder at 3 a.m. in a studio lit by lava lamps. Her relationships burned bright, fizzled fast, and rarely made tabloids because nobody could keep up. She admits she's tough to pin down. One night a duet partner, next night a ghost on an outbound flight. Critics call her elusive. Shelby calls it quality control, insisting she'd rather write a song about desire than surrender to a romance that can't keep tempo. Chasing honesty sometimes means outrunning comfort. Lucinda Williams drenches gravel-voiced poetry in tales of motel curtains and restless beds. Her memoir unveils entanglements with poets, guitar slingers, and one mysterious roadie whose name she still refuses to print. She equates monogamy with driving the same highway forever, beautiful but repetitive. Yet when she finally married manager Tom Overby on stage during a Minneapolis concert, fans cheered like renegade pilgrims witnessing grace. Lucinda says the secret is finding someone who applauds your detours rather than blocking the exit ramp. Even rebels crave a roadside diner that never closes. Kitty Wells shattered gender barriers with "It wasn't God who made honky-tonk angels," but offstage she lived a remarkably stable life with husband Johnny Wright. Early career whispers hinted at a brief fling during a long Canadian tour, quickly hushed by bandmates loyal to country's new matriarch. Regardless of truth, Kitty's legacy shows a woman can open doors for generations while politely closing the ones that threaten her household. Not all queens need scandals. Sometimes quiet dignity rewrites the rules louder than drama. Still, rumor remains a stubborn echo in every empty auditorium. Rosanne Cash inherited her father's depth and his knack for complex love. A marriage to musician Rodney Crowell produced 4 children and a stack of Grammy-winning songs dissecting their peaks and valleys. When the union collapsed, Rosanne headed to New York, where she found writer-producer John Leventhal, a partner who invited her brain first, guitar second. She says divorce taught her to guard serenity like rare vinyl. Now she curates affection with editorial precision, proving that rewriting the bridge can save the whole track. Legacy is only meaningful if it can breathe. Lacey J. Dalton's whiskey-smoked timbre hinted at midnight tales she rarely confirmed. She rode Harleys with bikers, penned songs with cowboys, and dated enough renegades to fill a jukebox B-side collection. Lacey believed commitment should never outshine curiosity. When a relationship felt predictable, she traded it for a new highway. Yet she never burned bridges. Ex-lovers still attend her Nevada shows, cheering the choruses they once inspired. Freedom, she claims, tastes like dust kicked up behind a tour van racing sunrise. In her rulebook, love is a guest pass, not a lease. Step back from the gossip scrapbook and a bigger picture emerges. Every one of these women fought a duel between expectation and impulse. Nashville's publicists polished them into porcelain dolls, yet porcelain cracks the first time a tour manager forgets payday or a headline screams betrayal. Instead of shattering quietly, these singers glued the shards into stained glass windows that refracted their own myths. Listeners heard confession and found courage. Critics heard scandal and found copy. Either way, the story stuck like stage glitter. You think you brushed it off until another spotlight proves otherwise. Maybe that is the true magic of country music. It transforms private chaos into 3 chords the entire world can hum. When Tammy belted pain on a vinyl groove, or Tanya stomped across a casino floor chasing fleeting devotion, they offered proof that mistakes are just verses missing a chorus. Their adventures, messy and magnificent, widened the genre's emotional range. By revealing contradictions, faithful yet curious, fragile yet fearless, they declared that a woman's narrative need not fit inside polite parlor walls constructed by marketing men. So when the ghost of a steel guitar sighs at closing time, remember that behind each note stands a life too unruly for encyclopedia summaries. Some found lasting calm, others still ride the midnight circuit, but all paid admission to the same unstoppable craving to feel everything and sing it louder. You, leaning on the rewind button, are part of the saga now because curiosity keeps legends alive. Hit subscribe, chase the next rumor with us, and decide for yourself. Would you brave that rhinestone battlefield for a shot at forever echoing on the radio? Before you log off, picture the dusty cassette box in your grandparents' attic. Among cracked plastic cases rests a mixtape these women unintentionally co-authored. Each track a confession, each pause a heartbeat. Play it end to end and you'll hear more than melodies. You'll sense lipstick on coffee mugs, hotel carpets drenched in moonlight, contracts inked with possibility, and backstage prayers for forgiveness. If country is truth set to rhythm, then these love stories are its thunder rolling after the crowd goes home for one more encore.